Hey everyone, it's Tucka, and I'm back in this bandit den. I decided that I'm gonna go back and stow some of this skooma and moon sugar and some other miscellaneous items into one of these crates before I go and try to sell off my things, just to declutter my inventory a bit. I'm getting rid of some things that some mods added that I don't really want them to add. Like, I have a fishing rod there. I added a mod called Abbott's Water Life that gives you some a fishing rod, some crab meat, a book, and a couple of rings that you can use to configure the mod. But I don't really. The main reason I installed that mod is just so there's a little bit more atmosphere and about the water and things. I didn't really want all these other items, so I'm just getting rid of them. I'm getting rid of the moon sugar and the skooma because the guy at the trade house isn't going to talk to me if I have that stuff on me. And I put that stuff in a crate, and that's probably a respawning container. It's not what we call a safe container. It's probably going to respawn at some point, and the contents of that container will respawn, and when they do, all those items I just put in there will disappear. But that's okay, because I don't really care about those items that much. So I'm leaving the bandit den now, and I'm going to go to the trade house. So when I exit this cave, I notice that a bit of a fog has drifted in. So I'm gonna let you guys admire the Seyyanin dusky fog for a while I pick these mushrooms here. And then I'm gonna kind of probably cut straight to the trade house here. And I'm gonna sell all the stuff that I won't use later, that I haven't already dumped. So I get rid of these daggers, throwing star, etc. I'm gonna sell some of the healing potions I found, but keep the rest, because I probably won't use healing potions too frequently. I find potions to be kind of cheap, because cheap as in kind of unfair, abusable, because they in order to use them you have to go into. Well, I guess you can make a hotkey of them, but you only have so many hotkeys, so I don't really want to hotkey potions. And the only other way you can use them is to kind of pause the game, go into the menu, and drink them. And I don't really want to pause in the middle of combat too often, because it's kind of cheesy, kind of cheap in my opinion. And to be able to just go into the pause combat and just heal yourself instantly, to me, is kind of... so here I'm buying some spells. I'm going to buy Spark, and because those fire spells, with all the Dark Elves in the island, I probably don't want to use those as my default spells, so I'm going to I bought Spark, which is kind of like Fireball, except it works, it's a electricity elemental, or lightning elemental, and probably going to end up buying Night Eye here, so I can see in the dark better, instead of having to cast a spell on an enemy. I thought about buying Open, but it doesn't really open very hard locks, very difficult locks, so not really probably worth buying at that point. And I think I also bought Frostbite, which, again, I'll use that. I'll use Frostbite in lieu of Firebite, generally. So here I am switching up my, redoing my hotkeys, so to take advantage of the new spells I just purchased, and just to rearrange them around a little bit. So I'm going to have Frostbite, Spark, Night Eye instead of Light. I'll probably put in Soul Trap here instead of Telekinesis, and move Telekinesis over to 6. Yeah. So one thing I just want to quickly apologize for is I accidentally cut out the game audio when I recorded this, so sorry about that. So now I will go upstairs and get the directions to Balmora from Elone over here. I think the guy we talked to before we left the census office mentioned that she can give us some better directions. I think I'm probably just going to use the Silt Strider, though, because there's probably going to be enough running around as it is, so I might as well cut down on my travel time. So as I'm talking to her here, I'm noticing she's not really being too friendly. Now, I'm checking here to see if I have any diseases, because if you're diseased, like, and the people won't want to talk to you, I'm trying to figure out, if I'm suffering some sort of penalty, because she's saying, I have a problem with you. Do me a favor. Don't talk to me. I ask myself, do I like myself to tell you this? And so she's giving me an attitude. And, people are generally unfriendly to Outlanders like yourself before you perform any quests or do anything to ingratiate yourself to the natives. But she's being unusually rude, it seems. But she is willing to tell me how to get to Balmora. She tells me that it's the second largest city on Vardenfell after Vivek City. And then she gives me some detail on Pelgiad and Caldera, which are some other cities. Tells me about Vardenfell, the island, as well as Vivek. And she tells me Vivek is kind of an interesting place. It's composed of a bunch of town-sized buildings called cantons. So get some background information there. Got some directions. Now I'm just going to leave and skip to the Silt Strider here and go to Balmora. So this guy, that's the Silt Strider. I just talked to this guy. Select travel. I have a mod installed that lets you kind of take the scenic route, so you can actually watch as you're running along, and then you can kind of jump out of the Silt Strider if you want to, I believe. I also asked him a little bit about the locals, but I'm not really going to pay too much attention to that right now. I'm going to stay focused on my mission here of getting to Balmora. So I hit travel, select Balmora, and it's going to be a loading screen, and I just automatically appear there. Although time does pass in game, it's not instantaneous travel. So it's just instantaneous from the perspective of the player. And then we're going to notice when we get to Balmora that it's going to be pretty dark outside. So yeah, it's nighttime when we get to Balmora. And I think Balmora, with the mods I have installed, it looks pretty awesome. If you look at Balmora and Vanilla Morrowind, it doesn't really look nearly this cool. It's added some trees, there's some extra booths. It's kind of like a bazaar area type now, where people have some booths set up that weren't there in the original game. And just the general retexturing and the ground cover and things just looks a lot nicer. So there I just pulled up my journal to get an idea of where I want to go. It's a South Wall Corner Club, so it's going to be in the south area of town. So here I'm checking the signs of these various establishments. That's the Council Club, not the Corner Club. So I'm looking for the South Wall Corner Club. I'm already in the south part of town, and now I'm going east across the river. I think one of the guys we talked to said that the South Wall, I'm just looking at the sky here because it looks pretty awesome. But yeah, so I'm going east. I think the guy who I talked to before leaving the census office mentioned that the South Wall Corner Club is in the east part of town. So here I am, the south, there it is, South Wall Corner Club. So I'm going to go inside and ask people about Caius Kosades. So I enter the room. So I'm going to talk to this lovely looking, I think she's a Nord. And she says, okay. So I ask her about Caius Kosades, and she tells me I'm happy to tell my friends about Caius Kosades, but you're not my friend. Again, people are acting unusually rude to me. I tried this Khajiit character over here, but he doesn't know anything apparently, so no point talking to him. Bartender, I mean, you always want to talk to a bartender. He knows what everyone is, right? Bartenders are friendly. I asked him. Nope. He gives me the same line that the Nord gave me about not being my friend. So I'm really wondering why people are hating me so much. And I think originally the designers of Morrowind intended for characters to be much less friendly to Outlanders, but they toned that back so the game would be actually playable. But it seems like people are... None of those over here, my personality is 2. And it's in red, which means it's been reduced. So I think what happened was, when I was back in that smuggler cave, that spellcaster, when he was casting spells at me and didn't seem to be doing any damage to me, I think he was casting some sort of damage personality spell on me. So it's making me a particularly unpleasant, maybe ugly-looking person or something, and that's the reason why nobody wants to talk to me. So I have to find some way to restore my personality attribute. I go up here and try another guy, ask this guy about Caius Kosades, and he tells me, he gives me different lines. He says, what, do I look like his mother? I might know where he is, but I'm not going to tell you, basically. So that might be the guy I'm supposed to talk to about where to find Caius, but he's not giving me the time of day, just like pretty much everyone else. So I have to find some way to restore my personality. So I'm kind of looking around, and fortunately, my kind of metagame knowledge, I already know my way around Balmora pretty well, so I'm going to head over to the temple, because there's shrines there that I think might have might be able to restore your attributes, although I don't think so. I think the shrines are only able to cure you of diseases, and I think maybe poison, and they can also give you blessings and there might be a blessing that will boost my personality temporarily, but that's not really what I need. I just want to restore my personality entirely. So climbing the hill here, the temple is a little bit separated from the rest of the town. There we go, Dunmer Temple. The Dunmer have their own religion. They follow the what they call the Tribunal Temple. It's kind of funny they call it the Dunmer Temple there. I figure they call it the Tribunal Temple because the gods worshipped by the Dark Elves. Here I am. Okay, it's just asking me to make a donation. Okay, I'll make the donation. So yeah, cure disease, cure blight, cure poison, and then a blessing. I'm not afflicted by any disease, so nothing happens. So try talking to this guy. Maybe he has some potions or something, but no, he's not willing to sell them because I'm not a member of the temple. So I have to pay a surcharge if I even want the privilege of bartering with this guy, but it's way too much money, so I don't do that. And that surcharge and him refusing to sell to me, that's something added by a mod called Service Requirements. A Service Requirements mod, so it basically makes it so members of the various factions won't sell to you unless you, and there I just tried to eat some heather because I noticed it had the Restore Personality attribute, but it doesn't do any good apparently to just eat raw ingredients. You have to brew it into a potion. I don't think I had any other ingredients at that point that would allow me to create a Restore Personality potion, so that did me no good. But as I was saying, yeah, Service Requirements mod makes it so unless you're a member of the faction, you typically can't make use of the services that faction provides, the various merchants and other services they have, such as the guild guides, the Mages Guild, unless you pay a surcharge. A surcharge is pretty expensive for a new character, so it's a little bit of a challenge enhancing aspect, a little bit of a kind of lore enhancing aspect, and this is an alchemist, and so I'm just trying to see if she has a potion that will get me right. So I'm looking through here, some restore health, restore endurance. Okay, I'm getting warmer, restore speed. There we go, restore personality special. But it's pretty expensive. It's instead of trying to buy that, I'm kind of looking on her shelves, and maybe I can steal one. Because again, I'm playing a pretty unscrupulous character, but there's a guard right here, and she's right there, so I can't really steal off that shelf there. So I'm looking upstairs, and I'm gonna rifle through some of this less guarded area, but it just looks like a bunch of junk up here, so looks like I have to break down and see if I can afford to buy the personality potion. And so there's some mortar and pestles, but nope, not what I need. So talk to her and see if I'm able to afford that potion I need. So I barter. Restore personality, 250 is the going price, and she wants 315. And I noticed I have 218 gold pieces, and I didn't think she'd be willing to sell it to me, but I give her all my gold, and she actually ends up selling it to me. So I'm flat broke, but I drink my potion, and after I exit the menu, it takes effect, and there we go. Personality is back up to 30. So with that taken care of, I'm going to end the video here, and I'll go back to the Corner Club in the next video to get that information I need.